Much for your time and a good morning to you.
Good morning, Jenna.
Uh, I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Just I don't know how that sounds to you. If you've heard that four additional police officers have been interdicted this time for Islamophobia, uh, does that add up for you?
Well, good morning to your viewers and listeners at the same time, and then your team in the studio. Well, I think it is a step in the right direction because the service has its code of ethics, or professional ethics, as we normally call it, and just like the legal profession, there is ethics that guide our actions and inactions. And for that reason, if police officers who are supposed to be very disciplined in everything that you do, not just, I mean, uh, should I say, seeing your officers and then paying compliments, that kind of due respect. No, but you should be disciplined in your comments, disciplined in your actions and that. So, if officers who are supposed to know better pass comments which are not well, and in regards to an action or a step that has been taken by our children or our younger brothers and sisters, I think the step that has been taken by the police administration is the right step, in my opinion.
And these are quotes that are attributed to the Inspector General of Police, who says whatever happened in terms of the policing aspect of it, we are going to look into it and take all actions that need to be taken to ensure that at the end of the day, the right thing is done. We will ensure professionalism is deepened in a way that will not put the life of anybody at risk, um, because as police, we are here to protect lives and properties. And if we can't do that, then we might have failed in our mandate, and it is something that we don't want to do. I'm wondering from your own perspective, because for you to interdict somebody, you feel that they have acted unprofessionally.
Yeah.
What were the failures on that day for which the various police officers have to account?
If we had to go to the event, that would be a lot. Because myself, when I saw the video, the first thing I said was that, these were secondary school children, right? I think it's a secondary school, right?
Yes, it's a senior high school, yeah.
So, I don't see why even life amnesty were fired. My opinion. And you see, I'm always against this attitude of firing into the crowd.
Actually, the live ammunitions we are told was they were warning shots.
So how come some people were hit?
That had to do with is it the tear gas that was fired.
So no live ammunition hit somebody.
No, not as far as I recall.
Okay, well, they are doing their investigation, so you let's wait for the outcome of that investigation, whether any live ammunition hit somebody or not. But indeed, my point on that aspect is that the only thing is there are so many things that we use fighting mob action. So many things. Tear gas is one of them. And for them being school children, there are several ways that they could have gone around. I just don't want to, highlight certain things. But there are several ways. There are so many ways in killing a cat. So there are several mediums that they could have used, to curtail this situation. And as the IGP sadly indicated, the police is there to protect life and property. And it's not protecting life and property is not always about, firing warning shots or whatever shot. You go to the UK, for instance. The only police that you see them carrying weapons are the police that you find at Buckingham Palace and the airport and certain sensitive areas. If something should happen in your home and you call the police right now to come to your house and the police come, you never see any police officer carrying weapons. The police who will come to your house, the worst that you may see them carrying is maybe spray and taser. And then they are handcuffed. Simple. But they are still able to do their work efficient. So we don't always have to resort to the use of live ammunition. The other media, except the station, and in the police service instruction, a police officer only discharge firearms only when your life is in immediate danger, and all other means have been used and proven futile. That's what the service instruction says. Simply. So if you cannot prove that you have used the other means, and the other means didn't work, that is why you also the use of the firearm. That's a question to answer. Because that is what the service instruction says. And those officers who have been interdicted regarding, the actions at the campus, that is how that is the rule that they are going to use in dealing with them. He used other means. If the answer is yes, what other means did you use? What extent did you use that means, and how did you feel? Which led you to firearm? Because any firearm that you discharge, police service, you account for it. You account for it. So that on that part, that is what I would say. That I didn't agree, or I don't agree to the fact that they were using firearms, because these are just students who don't have any. The worst they could do was what they were doing, which is spraying of stone. That is all. But they don't have any weapon with them that they can use. They cannot bring any serious weapon towards the police. Come and harm any police officer. The worst thing they can do is the stones that they were throwing.
I'm wondering, because if a police officer fires, let's say, a tear gas, is that also considered a firearm?
So that tear gas doesn't kill. It's just to make you a bit unconscious if you inhale. You understand? So sometimes even the police themselves, some of them can be affected by the tear gas because, you have to fire it towards the direction of the wind. So if you are not able to calculate it well and you fire it wrongly, it's coming towards you yourself. You understand? So tear gas is not something that is dangerous, that can kill anybody, no. Except maybe someone who has some kind of serious medical condition, which maybe as a result of inhaling that can affect him or her. What I cannot speak much to it because it's a medical term. But aside that, tear gas doesn't kill. So if you fire tear gas, it's okay to use tear gas on students or on routing.
Well, so it can kill if, depending on the person or the target.
Yeah, I don't, except that maybe, like I said, maybe the person has some kind of serious medical condition that if maybe the person gets in contact with such thing, it can affect the person. You understand me? But if you don't have such chances, tear gas is okay to use in any of such situations or instances. It's okay. The first that you can use. Fire tear gas is okay. It doesn't kill. It's just something that will make you unconscious for a while. And it's used all over the world. Then it's okay to use. Or sometimes if you don't use the tear gas, you use the water cannon and be spraying those hot waters on them, and then they'll run away. Those that you want to apprehend, you go ahead and apprehend them. And those that you see them be the gang leaders or the ring leaders who are leading them to misbehave, you get them arrested.
I'm also wondering, I don't know if you had crowd control training.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
There are other. Police even have special units which are mainly well trained aside. The general police in its entirety. There are special units which are purposely meant for crowd control. For instance, the RDF, now the FP, and other things. Yes, that is their core area.
And does that training even consider the ages of the people who may be guarded? For example, if you wake up in the morning, you hear some GSS students are unhappy and they are gathered somewhere and they are shouting, is the training to deal with that different from the training to deal with a group of adults who are angry?
No, you see, in police, whenever a team of police officers are sent any place for any purpose, there is always a leader. Okay? Or there's always a senior most person, it can be a senior officer in rank, or it should be a senior person in rank, in simple terms. So the person can be an inspector, leading maybe 4 months, or 5 months, or 10 months in, or a inspector or an assistant superintendent, a deputy superintendent, dependent. And whenever you get such thing, the junior ranks who are being led by that officer will take instructions from that officer before you act. So, for instance, as you said, let's say, students are misbehaving and they are causing damage to their own properties over there. And then the police around there have been called to, come and settle the situation. When they get there, you need to ascertain the situation and then take instructions or orders from your officer before you act. So it depends on the kind of orders that is being given by the officer. That will determine what kind of actions the police will put up. But like I said, in most occasions, the first the police will try to do is to get some people arrested. The key people who are leading those to get them arrested. The police car available there will take them away. There is police station. Whilst the other men will be on the ground trying to ensure that the situation comes to a calm end.
So leadership is key.
Sorry?
Leadership is very important.
Of course. There's no way they will send a call, an emergency call will come to any police station that the men will be dispatched there will not be a senior person among them. It will never happen. Even if they are constables, there's a senior among them. Even if they send 10 constables to a particular post, among the 10 constables, there is a senior. There's a senior.
So I'm guessing then you perhaps agree with the IGP's line of interdiction. Senior officers first. Now you are finding out the other juniors that were involved and acted inappropriately.
Exactly. Because that is how it's done. Because for them to have fired tear gas, for them to have fired live ammunition over there, those officers who were holding or using those arms or weapons can never discharge the firearms on their own, except an order is given. And the order cannot be given by your fellow rank or like let's say if you're a corporal, another corporal gives you instructions. Maybe that corporal can be your senior, yes, but once there's an officer there, or once there's a senior most person among that went there, that senior most person is the one who's supposed to give orders before anything can be done. That is how the service works. So assuming the team was led by, let's say the IGP himself. The IGP himself went there with a team of officers, right? When he got there with them, assuming something happened, and they had wanted to take any action, the orders will be coming from the IGP. Because at that moment, all the officers there, the most superior was him. Or the most senior was him. If it wasn't him too, and let's say the commissioner in charge of operations was the one who led a team of senior police officers to that place, and something has happened in their presence, and an order needs to be given for somebody to do something, the one to keep that order will be that senior commissioner who was among them. In that order, it follows in that order to the lowest. Down to the lowest. So that's why I said that even among constables, there's a senior. Your service number, the service number determines, who's nearest. So if I should meet any of my mates now, I know those who are my juniors, even though we pass at the same day, but I know those who are my juniors. It's like lawyers. Depending on the time that you're called to buy, and then your enrollment number and everything tells your seniority. It's everywhere. The same thing applies to the military. It's everywhere.
Well, I'm wondering what other steps you're expecting that the IGP will take subsequently to deal with this matter comprehensively.
Oh, no. Once they have been interdicted, they will put them through what we call service inquiry. So they will be put before a team of or a panel of other officers who will put you through certain kind of trial internal. Then they will try to ascertain your action, try to understand why you did whatever you did. You have a right to a lawyer if you want to take one. And then having taken you through the necessary process, if they find you guilty to the charge that they have placed on you, the necessary disciplinary action will be taken against. That is how it works. So if your action and the outcome of the investigation from that panel who is going to try you, they say that you deserve to be dismissed, you are going to be dismissed. Whatever recommendation that they bring out to the IGP is going to be given to you at the end. But for now, you are on interdiction. So you are partly a police officer and partly not a police officer.
And I'm wondering because you schooled partly in the UK, so there are some concepts here that may come up. There's the concept of Islamophobia. Is it a new concept? Is it something that have you ever find a police officer interdicted for perhaps making comments that have been found to be inappropriate under the circumstances?
Well, I can't cite one, but that is the you need to be careful when, especially my fellow account, the way sometimes comment about certain people or certain tribes or certain minority tribes. I'm a typical account, 100%. But I'm always against that kind of behavior. Not that it's because it comes from police officers. Generally, the rate at which some Ghanaians can look certain tribes or group of people is so bad. I read it on Ghana Web. The kind of utterances or statements that were made. They are just, I'm quoting what Ghana Web cited. Look at them, they are dead. You think I'm standing to it? Come on. I don't want to do any kind of comparative analysis here this morning. But to be very honest, they need those officers who make those comments. There are all kind of functions that need to be. I'm an account. And I will never support any kind of, cyber comment. It's wrong. It's very wrong. A team of parliamentary select committee on defense and interior have gone there. Gosh. And when they went there, you've seen the kind of, positions that they have also taken regarding that. So in one way or the other, the students may be having, or they had a genuine case, but they're complaining about they being killed or knocked down by vehicles as a result of they crossing the road. What is wrong in placing a police officer there constantly 24/7 to ensure that they stop cars for these children to cross the road day in and day out? Is there anything wrong? Because if we should put it that crossing, the Ghanaian drivers don't respect that crossing. Abroad, as you said, go to Germany, go to South. The time I was in Germany and we were driving, and the driver saw somebody was going on jogging. And I think he anticipated that the person was going to cross the road at some point. So even before he could get to the zebra crossing, he had slowed down. And indeed, the person was going on that jogging side crossing the road. And all cars stopped to the person when whatever said that he was doing that, I crossing the road, or all the other cars moved. And in Ghana here, you can even see a car parked on the zebra crossing, which is an offense. You can see a car parked on a speed ramp, which is an offense. Drivers don't respect road signs and road, anything that is not on road, except they see a soldier standing on the road or a policeman standing on the road. Aside that, indiscipline is everywhere. So this thing wouldn't have even come up. If the police on that area would have just placed policemen there 24/7, just to ensure that each time these students are crossing, even in Accra here, Accra some school, I think Morning Star or something, there's a school around campus. You always find a metro guard, those AMA guards were white and black. One of them will always be at the entrance of the stopping cars to ensure that parents who have come to drop their wards turn the road safely, and the kids who are also crossing to the school will also cross safely. Why can't we do the same thing? Do you have to wait for it to get to a point that the student has to adjust before we can reason and come to a good point of solving their problem? It shouldn't be so. And then you find people who know better bringing tribal comments, or as you indicate, Islamophobia comment. It's a religion, and everybody is entitled to his or her own religion, all right?
Okay.
Decide which one he or she wants to join. If somebody is a Muslim, and by virtue of that, attending an Islamic school, that doesn't make the person evil. That doesn't make the person, a bad person who doesn't need part of a certain society. Or you're sort of person in a particular manner. In any case, who said that their accounts are better than them? Who said that?
Lawyer Barima, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Susan.
Lawyer Alexander TWUM-BARIMAH is a former police officer, private legal practitioner, speaking to us on this issue. We'll play because to give it some context, I think we'll have to play the video in question. But before that, this is a story on